Good morning and welcome back. Today I am doing take 2 of my Fenty Beauty makeup range. I have no idea why I did it, but the previous video was too long, too dark and too boring. So I'm determined to get this right for you today. So let's get on with this. What I'm particularly looking for today is to see how the foundation works on extremely oily skin. For those of you who have watched my videos before, welcome back and hello. And for those of you who are new to my channel, hi and welcome. So I am a woman of a certain age group. I'm in my late 40s, but I have got very oily skin. So my skin's the type that breaks out in oil within 2 hours after cleansing. So I mean, I've literally washed my face about half an hour ago and I can already just start to feel it moistening up already. So I'm going to crack on and get on with this. What I decided when I did the last video is that the primer, the Fenty Beauty primer, isn't any good for mattifying skin. So I'm going to use it as a moisturiser because it actually smells really nice. It just feels nice on. So I'm going to put that on first. So here we go. This is the Fenty Beauty primer. Looks like that. Glass bottle with a creamy white, it's got a blush pink top. Okay, so let's put some of this on first. One pump. That should do it. The primer I normally use when I apply makeup is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer. So that is going to be the primer I'm going to put on top of this Fenty Beauty primer stroke moisturiser. Okay, so I've got 2 shades in the foundation and I already know that neither shade is actually the right shade for me. So I've got 450 and I've got 430. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to put the 450 on one side and I'm going to put the 430 on the other side. You can see how the shades dry down on my skin. For reference, people always use MAC as a reference. So in MAC I wear NC50. In Becca Ultimate Complexion Cream I wear the shade Mink. Alright, so that's been on for a little bit. Let's put the foundations on. The first shade I'm going to put on is the 450. So I'll put this one on first. And they do say with all the foundations you've got to shake them really well. So I'm going to bring you in so we get a nice close up. So apologies if I'm too close, but you really want to see this, don't you? And I'm going to use a brush, Sigma F80 flat kabuki brush on this side. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand first so you can see what the colour's like. Very red and very runny. Okay, I'm going to put 2 pumps on because that's probably how much I need. And let's do that. I didn't buy any of the application tools from the Fenty Beauty range. From looking at other YouTube videos, it didn't seem like I really needed to. So there you go. Okay, so that's the F50 on that side. And you can see it looks good, but it's got a slightly red undertone. So you can see that on compared to this side of my skin. Okay. Right, so that's just 2 pumps on that side. And then on this side, this is the 430 I'm going to put on now. And I'm going to apply this with the Morphe E31 brush. So 2 pumps again. So you can see this one looks more orangey on my face. So by the time this video is up, I'll have sent both of these foundations back, and what I have ordered, I've ordered the 420 because that is actually described perfectly for my skin tone. So it's described as for dark skin tones with neutral undertones. That's how in-depth the descriptions are for the foundations, and you never get that, and that's why I didn't really look for it when I did my initial purchase. So I think the 430 actually looks better than this one, but you can see how they're both drying down already. They both dry down really quickly and they give a very natural finish. So I'm going to put 1 more pump on each side and then we'll call it a day on that. So let's do this one. I've realised I've made a mistake on this video already. I was going to put the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer on and I didn't do it. So I've made a mistake already. Okay. I mean, I already know the result of this foundation is going to be my skin breaking out in oil. Sorry, spoiler alert, sorry. But for those of you who have got very oily skin like myself, when you apply this foundation, just apply it with your really good mattifying primer, because their primer, this one, is not going to do for you. But hey, you know what? It doesn't matter, because I'm doing a full Fenty look today, so that's all. It's all good. Right, let's do the third pump on the other side of my face. So in reality, I would say that you would normally need 3 pumps to get a medium to full coverage, more going towards the full coverage. So I've put too much on both sides of my face, but I really wanted to give you the full effect of the foundation today. And just to compare the 2 shades. Today I'm working from home, so I can do the review all in daylight today, natural daylight, which is what I prefer. It makes me happier to do it like this. Okay, so let me give you the time. So time now is just after 8 o'clock, so let's call it 8 o'clock. So that's the time of application, and you can see how the foundations are actually drying down on my skin as we speak, can't you? Okay, so there isn't a setting powder in the range as yet, so I'm going to use their blotting powder. Probably not a good idea, but let's do that anyway. So the blotting powder looks like this, and I have been using it the last couple of days, and I really like it as a blotting powder. So it's got a mirror at the top there, and it's got a little sponge, and then that's the powder down there, and it's really good. I like it as a blotting powder. So let's apply some of that on now. As a setting powder, this is no good. I'm going to use my normal setting powder, so let's get that out. So today I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me setting powder, and it's in the colour 360, so let's do this. Okay, there you go, that's that. Much better. Right, so in the range you've got these matchsticks, and they look like that, so you can get them as a trio. You can buy them individually, and I think they cost £24 or £26 individually, but it's better value if you buy them as a trio. So there's 4 trios. There's light, medium, tan and deep, and this is the deep collection. And you get a contour stick, you get the concealer stick, and you get a shimmer highlight stick. So I'm going to use the highlight under eye highlighter stick, and this is in the shade Suede, so I'm going to use that first. That's the colour. And I actually think it's a really good colour. If you're into sort of natural looks, finished looks, then this is perfect for you. Obviously those who like a more pumped up, exaggerated highlight, then you can get lighter shades, and you can buy it individually. So let's put this on. It goes on very smoothly, no issues at all. And you can see what I mean? The colour is actually pretty good. I'm just going to use my fingers just to blend these out for now. So I'm going to set all of the concealer with a powder, because that's what I always do. So let's do that. I'm going to use a Sacha Buttercup powder just to set the under eye. So I'm going to look a bit ridiculous for a bit. Okay, so next in the set, they've got the contour stick, so I'm going to use that one now. And again, when I applied the contour stick, I'll show it up to you. So this is the full amount. I have already used it, but that's the full amount there. So if you compare that to the other celebrity who released a makeup range recently, initials begin with K and it kind of end in W, compare it to her one. So there we go, like that. It's a very red undertoned stick, and what worries me about this contour stick, it doesn't affect me, but for those people who have got really deep skin tones, so you know, the 480s and the 490s in shade, this contour stick will not be deep enough for them. It really won't be, which is a shame because the foundations were brilliant. So it's something that probably Fenty Beauty might want to consider in getting a contour stick that can actually be used on those skin tones. Right, so let's blend that out. Again, all the products blend out really easily. So, and I know I've said this before, but there are some of the bigger YouTubers, you know, the ones with like 1 million plus subscribers, they have said that the contour sticks don't blend out that well. I have no issues with it at all. Maybe because I'm just used to using cream sticks, I don't know, but I don't think there's any problems with how this blends out at all. Right, I'm going to brush the Sacha Buttercup powder off now. How are we looking? How are we looking? We're looking contoured along here. So there's no blush in the set in the Fenty Beauty ranges yet, but I'm sure that's coming fairly soon. My own blush. I'm going to use the same blush I used the other day. Actually, no, there. Blush in chocolate chips. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on first. So it looks like that. So the next thing in this little trio stick is the highlighter stick. So it's this one, and it's in colour Cinnamon, spelt with an S. And it's a beautiful rose gold colour. So there you go. So with this, I'm actually going to apply this on the brush and apply that. I'm going to use a highlight brush and just to apply that on. Can you see it? Don't know if you can see it. I can see it, but again, I don't like to put too much on because at the end of the day, I'm an oily skin person. Where am I going with all the shine and bling on my face? Okay, so there's that. I'm going to be using this again in a minute and I'll show you how I use it again. Right, next thing in the range, which I've got, I didn't buy the Trophy Wife highlighter, which everybody seems to love. I can't wear bling things like that. I'm too old for that nonsense. So I just bought the Duo highlighter pack, the kilowatts, and I've got it in the Moscow Mule and Ginger Binge shades. And I really like these. So I'm going to put some of this on. And I'm going to put this one, which I think is the Ginger Binge. I think it's the Ginger Binge. I'm going to put that on top of this Cinnamon highlight, which I just applied. Just to bring it out a bit more. Okay, we can see that more now, can't we? Yeah, we can see that. Okay, that's those. Okay, you can see how the foundation is looking. It looks really natural and they've both dried down and there isn't much of a difference in shade in either one of them actually, is there? God, you know what? I'm actually... Oh, am I going to send them back? Oh, I don't know now. Because they both look really good. I love the finish. I mean, the shade isn't right for me, but I just love the finish. So I think it'd be great if I just get the right shades and it will just look really, really good. Right, I'm going to do my eyebrows and the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back to you and I'll apply the Glass Bomb on my lips. Back in a bit. Okay, so makeup is all done now. So you just saw a little clip of me using the cinnamon stick in the centre of my eyes there. And I used the Kilowatt, the Ginger Minge and the, what's it called, Moscow Mule under my eyes and in the corner of my eyes there. I actually think they look all right. What do you think? Right, so the last thing to apply is this gorgeous glass bomb. It's only in one colour at the moment, but it's a good colour for everybody, and I quite like it. It's nice, but it doesn't last long. So it's one of those I think I would like to use with a nice colour underneath, like a matte liquid lipstick underneath, and then put this on top. But just for today's purposes, I'm just going to put this on by itself. And if you haven't smelt this yet, oh my god, it smells so fruity and just lovely. It just smells like sweets. You just want to eat the damn thing. But anyway, I'm just going to put this on there. So I haven't put a lip liner on, I just put this on by itself. And there you go, that's the finished look. So excuse the the sweat coming out of my face. I perspire as well as being oily, but this will all settle down. But that's how it looks at the moment. What do you think? Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So we've got the 450 on this side, 430 on this side. At the moment, you can't really see much of a difference, can you? So 450. 430. Any difference? No, I don't see much of a difference as such. So I'm probably going to regret sending them back, but never mind. So this is how it looks at the moment. So I'm going to just set my face, and at the moment I'm using the Scandinavia makeup setting spray at the moment. So I'm going to set my face and I'll do my thumbnail shots, and then I will see you in about 6 hours or so, 6-7 hours, just so you can see how the foundation has performed. All right, I will see you later. Take care. Good evening and welcome back. I'm here to give you my final thoughts of the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Longwear Foundation. I was wearing it in 2 shades. So on this side of my face I was wearing it in the shade 450, and on this side of my face I was wearing it in the shade 430. Now, if I didn't say this earlier on today when I initially applied the foundation, I have got very oily skin, and I think you can kind of tell that now. So I've got very, very, very oily skin, and I really wanted to see how this foundation would perform on oily skin over a decent amount of time. So I thought 8 hours should be enough. So let me show you the time now, that would help you. So the time now is... what time is it? Yeah, it's 20 to 5. So I've been wearing this for about 8.5 hours now. I've been wearing the foundation. So that's a decent amount of time to test the foundation for. So when I do my review of foundations, I review the foundation on 5 categories. So the first is transfer. So that's my T. The next is O for oil control. P is for performance. The second P is for price, and the S is for the shade selection, and each category I score out of 10. So let's crack on and do this, shall we? When I do the oil control, I tend to do the oil control and the transfer at the same time, and I use blotting sheets to do that. So the worst foundations I have worn, they've used up 5 blotting sheets quite easily, just completely absorbed with oil. The best foundations tend to use 2 blotting sheets. It doesn't matter what foundation I wear or what the foundations promise, I will always end up producing oil at some point. For me, what a good foundation, which is going to control oil, will do for me, it will control my oil for at least 4 hours. Anything less than 4 hours is not great for me. Okay, so I have already inserted a picture of what my face looks like after 4 hours, and this is after 8.5 hours. I haven't blotted at all, but you know what I am going to do, because my lips are feeling rather dry right now, and I do enjoy wearing this product. I'm going to put a little bit of the glass bomb on, at least I can look semi-decent with my oily face. Let's just do that. I love this. It's so nice, so moisturising, so creamy, and it smells so good. Right, anyway, I've done that now. All right, so shall we do this? Okay, so here's my blotting sheets. Sheet number 1, let's do this. Okay, so that's 1. And the other thing I should say as well, I didn't use the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer today. I did in the other review, I did the other day of the review I did before, which was really rubbish. I did top up the top half of my face with the Becca Ever Matte Primer. Today I just used the Fenty primer and that was it. So sheet 2. Okay. So on both sheets so far I've got oil and foundation. Sheet 3. Sheet 3, and there you can see oil and foundation again. And I think the next sheet is just going to be a mopping up really. So I think we're looking at 3.5 sheets here. Okay, so there you go. So that's the final sheet, so 3.5. You can still see foundation on there and a little bit of oil. So 3.5 sheets we'll call that. So just to show you, so you know I'm not making it up. Okay, 3.5 sheets of oil and foundation. Right, so what are we going to say about the transfer? So really what I'm really looking for is a foundation that won't transfer onto my papers when I'm handling paperwork, and it won't transfer onto light clothing, which I sometimes wear as protective clothing in my work, or if I'm going in for a greeting and a kiss on somebody and I don't really want my foundation to transfer onto their clothing. With this foundation, as soon as the oil produces, you're going to get transfer. So out of 10, I can only give this really no more than 4.5, 5. I'm going to say 5 to be generous. So I think a 5 out of 10 for transfer. For oil control, well, it hasn't really absorbed my oil at all, has it really? Hasn't been good. The oil did break through pretty quickly. In my picture, which I showed you earlier, that was after 4 hours, but the oil started to come through after, say, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, so it wasn't great for oil control. This is not a foundation for those of us who have got very oily skin. So I think for oil control, I can really only give this a 3. Not great. But performance is going to be slightly different, because when I look at performance, I'm looking to see if once the foundation stays, the integrity stays all the time, whether the foundation fades, if it melts, or if it separates. And what I tend to find with foundations that don't perform well with me on oily skin, they do start to melt and separate once the oils start to come through. Whereas this though, looking at that, now that I've blotted my face, it looks all right. It looks good. So I think really for performance, I have to consider the oil again. I don't want to sort of do a double jeopardy here. But for performance, I'm going to give this actually higher than I gave it the other day. Because the other day I wore it for, what, 9.5 hours? But I think I'm going to give this higher than I can't remember what I gave it last time. I probably gave it about 4 last time. I'm actually going to give it more than that. I think I'm going to give this a 4.5 for performance. Because once the oil has removed, it looks okay. A little bit of fading, but not much. Just gentle fading, but it still looks pretty decent on my face. And it hasn't oxidized. What it's done is actually just dried down darker. And now that I'm looking at the foundation now, I'm looking at the colour on my face. And if I lower the camera, you can look at my neck. I actually think it looks all right. So I think, I mean, I've sent the foundations back now, which is just stupid. And I've got the 420 on its way to me. But I'm actually thinking that both of those shades I had, the 450 and the 430, were all right. There's no problems with it at all. So what do I know? What do I know? So I think, yeah, I think for performance, I am going to give this I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. So it's gone up in my estimation. I'm giving this a 6 now. Okay, the next thing is the price. Now, the price is £26 for the foundation. Do I think it's worth it? So let's look at prices in that range. So foundations that perform like this for me are the Revlon Color Stay, and it's about £10. The Max Factor Healthy Skin Harmony, which I tried the other day, that was £15. Similar performance, even though you need a whole load on your face to actually get a decent coverage. Foundations that perform better than this are in the higher range, and they'll be like the Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. I wear that in the shade Mink, and that performs better, much better. What else performs really well? The Estee Lauder Double Wear, that's always going to perform well. So this is right in the middle, really. The price is good, because that's the price I would expect. It's a good price for a high-end foundation. So out of 10, I am thinking an 8. Oh God, it's a good price. I haven't got a problem with the price at all. So this is me personally. I think it's an affordable price. I'm going to go with the 8 out of 10 for the price. I think it's a good price. It's not a 9. I can go halfway, can't I? 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, price 8.5 out of 10. I'm comfortable with that. And for shade selection, yeah. What is there to say about the shade selection? There's 40 bloody shades, so that's straight away a 10 out of 10, really. I mean, she's got 10 shades in all the categories: light, medium, and tan, and deep. And what I didn't consider when I looked at the foundations the first time round when I made my order is that there's a good description of the undertones underneath, which I did not take into account last time. So this is a 10 out of 10 easily for shade selection. What's my final score? I have no idea, because I can't add just like that. But when I do the edit of the video, I'll put the final score up there. But overall, my thoughts on this foundation, I need to test it out using my mattifying primers. I have got the new shade coming. I'll see how that one does, and God help me, if it's not suitable, I'll just send it back and get the 430 or 450 again. But what I'm getting with these foundations, I think it doesn't really matter what shade you get. I think it's going to be all right either way. It just seems to be a really flexible and adaptable foundation, so you can't really argue with that, really, can you? So would I buy it again? Well, probably not. I'm going to use up what I've got when I get it, and there's going to be so many other foundations that are out there, and I've already got foundations that give me a good shade, so yeah, I'm happy with it. I probably won't do a repeat purchase unless she produces another foundation that is mattifying skin. Now, if she does that, we'll definitely be talking then. But for me personally, I'm not going to buy it again. If you haven't got a foundation, or you're still looking for a foundation, this is a good place to go and start. It really is. Good shade selection, good price. It's an excellent entry into the market, I think, for Fenty Beauty. So yeah, so that's my final review. I've done it now. I've done a proper review now. So let's just forget that review I did the other day, because I really am ashamed that I put that up. That's not good. If you've got oily skin, I say exercise some caution. So you need to put in all the extra things you do anyway. So things like your primer needs to be good. If you put a powder on before you apply your foundation, you need to probably do that as well. Make sure you set your face with the powder, and make sure you use a setting spray, and then walk around with your blotting powders or blotting sheets, whatever you use. These are extra things us oily skinned people need to do. So I hope that review was fair. I think I've kind of kept it balanced this time, and I hope you got to see properly how the foundation looks on my skin now. Please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you soon. If you haven't subscribed as yet, I should say, if you haven't subscribed as yet, please don't forget to subscribe down below. And if you press the bell next to the subscribe button, that will notify you when I do my next upload. And if you haven't given me a like yet, don't just watch the video without pressing the like. Press the like. Okay, thank you for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye.